Hello and welcome back to a new Premiere Perspective video. Um, International break is over finally.
I got
Um,
it.
Nothing too eventful. Obviously, in the summer when the international games will be played, there's going to be a lot more excitement and a lot more coverage. But for us, we were a little, you know, on the
No, some of
ropes,
them were,
waiting for
yeah.
some content. So Premier League is back, and we're here to cover today's games. Um, Chelsea versus West Brom,
Wow.
Leicester versus Man City, Arsenal versus Liverpool. All three highlight games. First off, Chelsea versus West Brom. Huge upset.
Oh, that was absolutely huge upset. It was West Brom came out to play today. They didn't just sit back against a team like Chelsea. It didn't hurt them for
Mhm.
sure. Definitely that Thiago Silva got sent off pretty early. Pulisic was able to score in the 27th minute. Right place, right time. Great positioning. Good free kick too. I believe that's what it was off of. But that's how Pulisic got his first. And 2 minutes later, Thiago Silva got a second yellow. Questionable. Wasn't a second yellow for me. But also, in my opinion, he was lucky to get away with his first yellow without a red, because it was pretty up there.
Yeah,
Um,
I guess it was his way of it coming back.
yeah, it was coming back. I
But
don't think he.
mhm,
Yeah, I think that was kind of that
yeah,
played the part in the second yellow.
and I think
Um,
what makes this such a huge upset is not only the fact that West Brom, who's in 19th place, beat Chelsea, but we're talking about a Chelsea team who hadn't lost a single game yet
right, they
under their
haven't
new
lost a
manager,
game under Tuchel. That's what I'm saying. So
and then to
it's
lose
not
in the
like they
fashion
had
that
it.
they did.
And their defense. I mean, I know Thiago Silva was huge for them, but they have the class back there. They have Christensen,
Mhm.
who's really talented. They have Zuma, who's been around. They have Aspilicueta. They have Marcus Alonso. Still, and they shouldn't just be falling apart like that, but they absolutely fell apart, especially on that first goal, the assist from Sam Johnstone. The Englishman absolutely been kicking it this season in goal, and also on the attacking end now with the assist, absolute rocket up. The Mateus Pereira who put that away, and then 2 minutes later, in the 45th plus four of stoppage time, he was able to put away a second one. Now into the second half. At this point, it's 2-1. Then a really well worked team goal from Robinson, who Callum Robinson had an absolutely amazing game
Beautiful,
and
beautiful goal.
beautiful goal, so well deserved to. They didn't just scrap it like West Brom usually does and sit back, and they came out to play. Which is surprising. You're 2-1 up against Chelsea, who haven't lost a game under Tuchel, and you actually come out to play. But all
Yeah,
respect to
that
them.
that was really surprising. Obviously West Brom took advantage of having an extra man and got those two goals right before halftime. So you would think going into the second half that West Brom would go into their typical shape and just fall back and hope that they can absorb the pressure. But obviously they saw an opportunity there, especially with the extra man, and got two goals in little time, and then they were able to get a fifth one later.
Right. And at that point, at the end of the game, Matias Pereira finished the game with 2 goals and 2 assists. And even though Mason Mount was able to pull one back to make it 4-2 at that point, but then they finished it later. For me, that game, Chelsea just fell apart. Honestly, it's
Yeah.
too bad because Kovacic. For me, watching that game, Mateo Kovacic had his game of the season so far. He had an absolutely incredible game. He was always working. He was everywhere on the field at all the right times, all the right places. Created when they needed a creator. Got built them out of the back, saved them from so much defensive trouble, and there's nothing to show for it. Obviously, didn't even I know stats aren't everything. Didn't get to put up any stats, and
Mm.
they lost the game like that. But for me, he's the reason that they didn't completely fall apart because he was always working for them, creating on from both ends. He could create from anywhere on the field. Such a talented player. And you really didn't see it other than today, but he really stepped up, and I'd like to see it more in the future. But it was too bad to see a amazing performance like that go wasted to a 5-2 loss to 19th.
Yeah, definitely disappointing for Chelsea. Good win for West Brom. What this means for them, I don't really think it means much. I still think that they're gonna get
No, I agree.
relegated. But yeah, interesting performance. Next up, we have Leicester versus Man City. City just showed their dominance as they always do. Took them a bit of a while to score. Benjamin Mendy with a great goal. But what I really liked from City's performance today, like they always do, is that they're always calm and composed. They don't try and force the issue. They play their game. And today, Kevin De Bruyne was just completely dominant on the field.
Yeah.
Just amazing passes, just always being that architect in the middle that City needs. and it's going to be extremely important, especially in this Champions League run. But yeah, City game finished 2-0. Gabriel Jesus got a goal. That one was a little scary. I know. Hey,
Yeah, knowing
hey,
City, the way they work on those 1-on-1s sometimes at the end,
yeah, the
they
one-on-one, De Bruyne with an absolute peach to Jesus,
yeah,
who
beautiful.
who tramps it over to Sterling, who decides, let me not shoot the ball
I'm
and
just gonna
dribble
tramp
for
it
10
back.
seconds and then just pass it back. At that point, I thought we weren't gonna score. When he didn't hit it first time, I was like, oh my god, here we go again, Sterling. But he was able to get the ball back to Jesus. And yeah, simple one for City. They're continuing their run on top of the table, and that pretty much sums up that game.
And moving on to Arsenal Liverpool, not really a surprise considering how Arsenal can be. Liverpool were able to cruise past them. Diego Jota back on form, better than ever. He scored twice. First goal, beautiful header, especially for a guy that's not crazy tall.
Yeah,
Um, was able to score later again, but that Mo Salah goal, I don't know if you saw it, but Mo Salah
yeah,
took the beautiful play, uh, well worked, and then gets it up just to absolutely do Burn Leno just right through
yeah.
his legs.
As
Almost
much as
waited for it.
as much as I sometimes get annoyed with Salah, and especially being on the opposing end to him, I will never, ever, ever deny his
Say that yeah.
class.
No, he's
He's
so
an
talented. Yeah.
amazing player, and he's always at the top of the league in terms of goal scoring, always creating chances. So Liverpool with a good win here, they really needed it, especially in a time where, if they had lost and Everton had won, they could have dropped all the way down to eighth. They're
Right.
now in fifth. Obviously West Ham and Tottenham still have to play their games, but
It's all close in there, but
yeah, it's looking good for them. And
yeah, especially to have such a dominating performance. The stats are they had 16 shots and 7 on target. Wasn't a
yeah,
scrapped win at all. Really well worked. Diogo Jota back in. Props to him because that was a huge injury blow for them
yeah,
when it came.
and
Even though they still have class up there, so it's no excuse. But that definitely helped having him back.
yeah, it definitely helps having him back. And this type of performance is definitely what Liverpool needs going into this week's Champions League game against Real Madrid. They're gonna go into that game confident. Ramos is also out for that game,
It's
so
huge.
even more of a plus for Liverpool. Yeah, so it'll
There
be
go our
interesting to see
brackets.
those games. Yeah,
Not
I
mine
don't
though.
know.
Not mine.
I mean, I had I had Real Madrid in the final, but
I had Liverpool in the
yeah,
final,
that
so yeah, I'm
Ramos
still
Ramos
rocking.
being out is definitely a big loss. But what this all means for the table, City now sit 17 points top from second place United with two extra games played. Leicester are in third, 1 point behind United. I think those three are I personally still think are set.
I
Now,
think
right
so
now
as
is the
well.
battle for fourth. Chelsea are in fourth place right now with 51 points. Today would have been a really good win for them. Liverpool 2 points behind fourth place
That was
Chelsea.
huge. The way things turned
Big
out, that's
win.
huge for that fourth place
Yeah.
spot. Yep.
And West Ham and Tottenham also right behind, both with a chance to go to West Ham have a chance to go to fourth with a win. Tottenham have a chance to go to fifth or fourth if West Ham drops points. So a lot of movement could be happening in this to end this week. But both had the chance, and it's going to be an interesting battle to see who ends up getting that fourth place spot.
Yes, I personally think out of anybody that deserves it at this point, Liverpool, the way they play, looking like they can get there. Chelsea, I don't think they're gonna. This one's gonna be taken nicely for them. It's always rough to have your first loss under a new
Mm-hmm.
manager, and to let up that many goals against a team that you shouldn't
Yeah,
be letting up that many goals against, and falling apart like that. They really have to get it together if they seriously want that fourth place spot. For me, Tottenham, I don't think so. West Ham, I think, are definitely in it. I think it's between West Ham and Liverpool. More likely is Liverpool if they keep this up because of that dominating performance today. That was big for them.
I think it'd also be interesting to see the aspect that now they brought in this new manager, Tuchel. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and if they don't finish in the top four, they don't do well in the Champions League. Like going forward, like as in they don't win it. And now you're talking about Chelsea playing Europa League next year if they fall out the top four. So that's an interesting aspect to see. Obviously, as time goes on, we'll see. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up today's games. For anyone interested in what's going to be coming next, we have a Europa League prediction video coming out later in the week. We have a Champions League review after all the games. So definitely tune in later in the week. There's going to be a lot of good content. We're going to also branch out from the Prem and Champions League. We're going to do a video next weekend on El Clasico. And yeah,
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of a lot a lot of new content coming. We definitely want to make up for the fact that we didn't provide during the international break that much. But yeah, so
Lots coming. Lots coming.
once again we want to say thank you to anyone who's shown support for the channel, and we'll see you guys soon.